the bigger point is enjoying the journey. And
well, let's talk about that for a minute. So yes, and why is it, and I don't include you in this because I don't think of you this way. Why is it that a lot of the tech bros who are sort of like the leaders in the Don't Die movement and leaders on longevity podcasts and leaders in those kinds of programs that are meant to help people live forever, why is it it's mostly men? Why is it that men are so obsessed with length? As in length,
I'm not touching that one.
Length in life.
No, I think that's a very good point. I think, women tend to be the people in charge of health, the health of my family. And you're right, men, this sort of longevity bro, they're focused on this fiction really right now of lengthening the capacity of the human machine or lengthening life.
Yeah.
It's a very different thing. One is maintaining what I have, and the bros are getting more. And it's.
What do you think of that, though? I mean, I'd love to get. I mean, if you're open to talking about, you don't have to mention specific people, but what is your point of view on that? Because it's actually gotten to a place in the MEA community where there's sort of factions, and there's sort of the faction of people who are like, yeah, this is great to lengthen our life and to extend it as much as possible. That's more the men in our program. Whereas the women in the program are like, you know what? Length is not important if you don't have depth. And so depth is what's really important. And, and men get focused on longevity, women get focused on wellness. And if we want to do an MEA program and we want to attract men, we put longevity in the title. If we want to attract women, we put wellness in the title.
There's two kinds of longevity. One is avoiding the diseases that foreshorten our lives. So the average American is losing about 14 years due to avoidable diseases like cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, dementia, most of which is avoidable, or about 60% of cancer, 55% of cancers are avoidable. That's something we can all do. And by avoiding them, we're going to live longer, i.e. longevity. The irresponsible arm of longevity is the one that tells you, take this rapamycin or this metformin or run down to Central America and get stem cells.
Yeah.
This is scientific fact. There is no pill, no supplement, no longevity hack that has been shown to add years of life expectancy to humans.
It's amazing.
None. There's all kinds of theoretical underpinnings. And will we get to something that intervenes that could actually change the biology of aging? Yeah. But we're not there yet. And all these longevity bros, they're selling you a pipe dream. And most of the time they have some bullshit supplement or some bullshit program or olive oil or whatever to make money off of you. And they make money off of hyperbole and this sort of circus snake oil salesman of take this right now and you're going to live longer. And it just does not exist. And I'm standing by those words.
And I was sort of worried about that you might not go there and tell us your real thoughts on this, but you did. And I appreciate that because I think there's a lot of people who are feeling that. There's a bit of a pushback, I think, toward the messaging, which is like, this is, death can maybe be extinct. We can get rid of death as if it's not part of the human condition. I love Becca Levy's work from Yale, and she has shown that over 20 years of studies, that when people shift their mindset on aging in midlife,
to look forward to
from a negative to a positive, such that you don't see aging as a overall negative, but overall there's an unexpected upside of aging, you gain 7.5 years of additional life. So shifting your mindset on aging is better than actually even stopping smoking at 50 or starting exercising at 50. So that's the part that's interesting to me. The idea, and of course the power 9 from Blue Zones, these guys in Sardinia are not going to 24-hour fitness, nor are they taking supplements. And so there's a history that we can look at to say many of the things that people do to live a longer, healthier life relate to purpose. They relate to social connection. They are not about, being a lab rat. And I think so much of what's going on right now is like the lab rat mentality of like, if I do these things, it's all metrics based. When I hear Brian Johnson in his interviews, I think we should cut him some slack because the guy is doing something good for humanity. At the same time, I get depressed when I hear him on his interviews, usually because he seems like a pretty lonely guy. And when you hear how much he's doing, and how structured and regimented his life is, and how possessed, there's a point at which purpose becomes a possession, the possession of you're possessed by what you're doing. I worry that this is someone who has maybe lost track of the balance and what's really important in life.
I was ready to hate Brian Johnson. Then I watched his Netflix series and I became oddly endeared with him. Like to your point, he was a guy who was kind of lost, but found his purpose.
Yeah.
And he not only found his purpose, he attracted a lot of other people who were looking for purpose. Mm-hmm. And I even agree with several of his modalities. I think generally speaking, he eats a diet of longevity. Mm-hmm. Generally speaking, physical activity is good. Yeah, he got a number of people to surround himself with. And I think those three things are going to do more to lengthen his life than any of this other snake oil or, young people's plasma or whatever. But it's his purpose. And, it's no more unhealthy than having a obsession with the Miami Dolphins.
Well, because he has money and he's spending his own money to do this. I think that's why he gets beaten up a lot.
It's his money, for crying out loud.
Yeah. But I think at the same time, there's a sense that you said it actually, and that is that all of these different kinds of modalities that are being introduced, some of which have been around a long time, but most of which are like pill-based kind of, or medicine-based or medical intervention-based, there's not much evidence yet that they're having an impact.
But think about it. It's very hard to make money on purpose. You're kind of doing it. Yet we both know if you could put purpose in a capsule, it'd be a blockbuster drug.
For sure.
There is billions of dollars of revenue to be made in pharmaceuticals. Put something in a pill and market the hell out of it and create all this sort of promise that it's going to make you better or more vital or have better sex. And they
do have a pill for that.
All the marketing, the hundreds of marketing messages that rinse over our psyche every single day are telling us to buy something that is going to make us look better, feel better, live longer. Turn on 60 Minutes. I love that show, 60 Minutes. Yeah. It's all bizarre pharmaceutical ads. Yeah. Most of these longevity bros, they're going to get on and try to sell us some pill or supplement that is going to make us live longer. None of them are going to, but that's where the money is. There's no money in make 3 friends, like Robert Waldringer will tell us, who care about us on a bad day. Where's the money in that? Yeah. Where's the money in sitting down, doing a self-assessment, understanding what are the things they're going to regret in 10 years, and start doing something about it today? There is a mountain of academic literature that supports the efficacies of social connection and purpose. Mm-hmm. There's nothing under the other ones, but you make money over here with the quick fix. Yeah. You don't make it with the real thing.
You're not going to have Blue Zone supplements?
Over my dead body.
Okay. I know you're no longer running the business, but
but the minute that happens, I'll be gone. Yeah. And the people I work with know that. Okay. When it comes to supplements, first of all, there's only 3 factories in America that make supplements, whether you're buying them in a fancy jar.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. 3 major, but most of them source, if you have this bougie boutique supplement to grow your hair or whatever. Yeah. You're going to one of these same
I could use that.
I like your hair. But the only supplements that seem to work when you follow cohorts of people over time are, number 1, cheap multivitamins. The type you buy for $9.99 for 1,000 of them at Costco. That seem to work, or at least they don't seem to do any harm. Second one, vitamin B12 for vegans. You need vitamin B12. And then vitamin D for some people. I mean, we're talking general pop.
Yeah.
If your doctor, a real doctor tells you need it. But when you take the population of people who take supplements every day and then compare it to the population who don't take supplements, the people who aren't taking supplements have higher life expectancy. So as a group.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
So supplement takers have higher mortality, in other words. They're more likely to die than those who aren't. So there's really no argument except expensive P for taking supplements.
Yeah. Wow.
Better to find your purpose. All right, if you're looking for your next actionable step to stop wishing and start doing, go ahead and click the video on your screen right now. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button so you can keep getting the practical advice you need to live longer and better. It'd be a huge favor to me. And we'll see you in the next episode. I guarantee you'll like it even better than the one you just saw.